Hey friends, it's me, Erin, your friendly neighborhood energy alchemist with today's Schumann resonance report for Wednesday, June the 18th. We talked about a double timeline jump yesterday, and there it is right there. So we had a major one and then a minor correction. And I know that sounds really strange, but this is the way that it was told to me through meditation, and the white man in the beard came back last night, so hang out with me for a second. So if you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know about the man with the white beard. If you're new to me, hi, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Let me tell you about him. The man with the white beard, I don't know who he is. I am not lucid in my dreams. He just shows up in my dreams, and he shows me different things, especially around timeline jumps or intense waves of energy. He showed up again last night, and I again was being shown pictures in what looked like a history book, and he was showing me all these conflicts happening, not just in America, but around the world. And I kept thinking to myself, how do I stop this? How do I stop this? And what he told me is there's no stopping this. It has to happen. So if you were feeling a little funky yesterday, we definitely had the second timeline jump. This space in between was all day Tuesday or Monday to Tuesday, basically. So if you were feeling a little liminal in that space, that could be why. Here is where we are right now. It looks calm on this graph, but friends, this is the Italian graph. I, again, don't know how to tell you about this bar of energy that's been coming in off and on. This has been extremely intense, and it has come in multiple times throughout the last few days. This is not the same as light codes. Light codes look like a wave of energy behind this. This is very different. This looks purposeful almost, but I couldn't tell you what it is. I don't know. But I can tell you this morning, I woke up feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous, and feeling like what's going to happen next. So getting back to the man with the white beard. The man with the white beard told me that things are going to get a bit more intense before they relax. Our timeline as a collective is flexing and retracting with all of the decisions that are happening right now. Nothing is written in stone. Everyone has free will. That's why you can't really predict the future. You can only talk about probabilities. What the man in the white beard was telling me is it's very, very important for us to engage with our empathy, because empathy is number one during this time of conflict. He also told me that empathy is the first Claire that comes online. This is one that I've known for a while, but he confirmed this for me, and I think I asked him why, I don't remember. And he basically said, because when your empathy comes online is when you go from being brain-centered to heart-centered. This is what shifts you into that awakened timeline, is being heart-centered. Not overthinking everything, but allowing yourself to feel your way through it based on how it is affecting you and what you need to do to help yourself, right? I know there's a lot going on in the world. I know that there's a lot of things that are making us nervous and feeling unsteady. I get that, but these things have got to happen, because the things that we have built around us, the tower that we have built around us, has got to come down to allow for greater freedom, greater choice. With the shifts in the timeline here and here, it doesn't necessarily matter exactly when the timeline shift happened, because it's not an instant thing. It's kind of a gradual movement, a sort of soaking in of the information. I don't know how else to explain it to you. But with timeline shifts, for me, it tends to produce new Mandela effects, even if they're just for me. I tend to find things that were lost. I tend to have conversations with people that either they don't remember or I don't remember. And all of these things have been happening to me for the last 2 days. I felt very liminal in my space and have had very active dreams, even though I don't necessarily remember all of them. So again, we had a huge collective timeline shift right after the No King's Day protest. That protest, though, that collection of people coming together, focused in one direction, pushed the collective into a new timeline. Then we have this flex where the energy kind of retracted itself a little bit and settled into that timeline. It's not necessarily different timeline. It's adjustment of the new timeline is the best way I know how to explain it. And I know that's not as exciting as it's saying we jumped timelines twice, but we just flexed into our timeline. And I wish I knew how to explain it in a way that made more sense. Physical symptoms for timeline jumping energy, this type of energy tends to make me a little bit tired, a little bit schizophrenic feeling. Sometimes I'm super excited and then 20 minutes later I'm ready for a nap, and then I'm super excited and then I'm ready for a nap. Misplacement of objects, finding lost objects, all of these are part of that. Just how it goes. In meditation about today, the energy we are receiving is pretty low level. I don't know how it is going to affect us. I can't predict that for you because, like I said, this is not a pattern that I have really gotten a lot of information on. I don't know how to interpret that to you. I can tell you that for me, I feel optimistic and excited, even in the face of everything that's going on. I just feel like things are going to be okay. And maybe this is the doorway calling us forward into that new timeline, asking us not to put all of our attention on those things that we cannot do anything about. If you want to do something about the situation, do something constructive that actually helps instead of just, complaining about it or whatever. If you're not going to do anything about it, that's okay too. Just stop talking about it. Stop watching the news. Stop burying yourself in the conflict. That's not to say to bury your head in the sand and turn away from it. It's just to remind you that when you focus on things out of control, it does nothing but build a sense of loss of control in you. That loss of control can trigger anxiety and all kinds of things. So before you get too far down that road, figure out what are you focused on that you don't have any control of that's making you feel that way. All right, so this is what my guides had to say in addition to everything I've already said today. Number one, they want us to understand that they are acknowledging that we have all become overburdened by putting our attention outside of ourselves and focusing on those things that we literally can do nothing about. My guides are asking you to decide what you want and focus in that direction and move that way, regardless of anyone else's ability to understand why you want to do that. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone as long as you're not hurting anyone else. This, my friend, is a reminder that we are the drivers of our car and it's up to us. We have to release the burdens that we are carrying, telling us that we have to conform and fit into the box that we were given. This, in return, opens up a whole new relationship to us. The sacral chakra is about outward facing roles. The world will see us differently as we embrace these changes. It leads to a state of progress that is driven by the crown. So again, try not to focus on those things that are out of our control, that have overburdened us and held us down. Instead, it's time to figure out what we want and be the drivers in our car, releasing the burdens that have been handed to us, opening up a new role for us to step into, to see ourselves more clearly. This, in return, ignites the feeling of progress led by the crown chakra. Ooh, that was a bit of a mouthful. All right, are you ready to start your day? Because I am. Ready? Take a nice, big, deep breath in. And release. Drop your shoulders and just remind yourself that today is going to be a great day, no matter what happens, because it's your day and the decisions you're making are for you. Try not to get buried in what's going on in the world and allow yourself to see the joy that's happening around you instead. This is how you become the driver in your car, friends. Just remember that today's a great day. It's a great day, friends. It's a great day.